Well, hello everyone, and happy Christmas Eve. And in some parts of the world, it's already Christmas. So happy Christmas Day. You have landed on our Success Power Hour segment with myself, Master Coach LaKendra Smalley, where we just bring, our coaches that have been certified by the Institute so you can get to meet them and see just how extremely amazing our certified life coaches are and the beautiful and wonderful things they are doing in the world to make the world a better place. And I'm just so excited. So those of you who have never tuned in before and you want to know a little bit more about our institute, we are the Global Institute for Coaches and Entrepreneurs, where we certify, train, and develop life coaches, just teaching them how to believe more in themselves and maximize in their gifts and be unapologetic about it and just love doing what they're doing so they can change the trajectory of their life and leave a legacy that is meaningful and that's filled with integrity and love and compassion for their families, right? So we are here and I'm just so excited. And this is the Christmas Eve special. People are like, are you going to go on today? And I'm like, yeah, every day for me feels like Christmas. So, I don't just wait for one time of the year where, everything is festive. I think I'm festive every day, with my sparkly glasses that I'm trying to find now, like, where are my glasses so I can see? With all of my bright hair, my colorful lips, and all of the things that I do just to make Christmas feels like it's in my heart every single day. And then also the love that I get to share with so many people just around the world. It feels like Christmas. It feels like Valentine's Day. It feels like Thanksgiving, like every single day of my life. But we have a really, really special segment on today. And you will be meeting our coach. Like I got a coach to commit to New Year's Eve, but this is even more special. And it always gives me like butterflies in my stomach, and it makes my hair stand up on my arms when I get to share a day that I haven't lived yet with someone else on the other part of the world, which means that the person that I'm going to be talking to on today is already in Christmas. Like already it's Christmas where he is. And that is so freaking exciting for me. And it should be exciting for you too. But before we bring him on, I wanted to share something special with you. So throughout this segment on today, we're just going to be doing like some really cool and fun things, right? Just to loosen him up some, and until you can get to know, the beautiful fun side of him, and then the serious side of him, and then the coach side of him, and the human side of him, and then the best me ever side of him, right? So, but before we do that, I have like these little gifts. Like I've been getting all of these gifts, and for probably about the last month. Y'all know in November, I call it Sweet November. It's probably the most emotional part of the year for me because it's my mom's birthday. It's not her death month, but it's her birthday, and her birthday is always so powerful in my life because she literally celebrated her birthday like it was a holiday. So for some reason, November weighs very, very heavy on me. So I started Sweet November 8 years ago, and people started sending me gifts in just to kind of cheer me up. So the first gift I want to share, and I'm going to be sharing these gifts throughout the whole segment today, but the first gift I want to share is from Coach Shanique Glaze. So Coach Shanique Glaze had been following my Sweet November post, and look, y'all, look what she sent me. Isn't that so beautiful? Do what you love and love what you do. And it is just so I've already started writing in it, Coach Shanique. So when you catch this on a replay or if you get on here, but it's just a journal. It's just a journal of blank pages. It's the creator of this is Hereafter, and this is wood. Do y'all hear that? That is wood, like real wood, and it is engraved, and it's just the cutest thing. So I keep it in my purse. So this was my other present And it's a coach purse, so coaches carry coach. So this is a really, really cute present that I got from another one of our coaches that lives, I think, Tristan, and don't kill me, Tristan, but I think Tristan lives in Maryland. And so, isn't this the cutest thing ever? So, anyway, I keep this in here. So, I always have a little journal or notepad to journal with. So I'm gonna just stop right there, y'all, because I got all type of stuff everywhere. So let's get ready to meet our guests. But before we even do that, I see that y'all are jumping on. Make sure you speak. Just be like, hey, I'm here. And if you're one of our coaches and you're tuning in right now, make sure you tag 3 of your coaching besties, 3 of your favorite people, and share this out. And if you don't want to share it, just bring people in, right? Because I get it. I would love for you to do that before I introduce them. So let's give everybody a minute to tag and bring someone on. Yep. I see y'all popping on. Hello, Coach Mariah. How are you? Go ahead and go find those other tribe members and bring them on in here. I appreciate you being on. This is going to be so fun, y'all, because the guest that I have today, he's just so super dope and I just love him dearly. So bring everybody in, share this out, get your pen and paper, because I'm going to be asking him some questions that you are going to want to know, especially if you're an entrepreneur and you are inspired to write a book, or you're inspired to speak on stage or whatever, because he does all of that. He's really dope like that. So hello, Nappy Coach. Hello. Go ahead and share this out in the lab for me, Nappy Coach, and also to our brand ambassadors, so that way they can start bringing everybody to the stage so we can meet our special guests. I'm really, really excited. So I'm going to read just a little bit about him, because this segment is going to be much different than our past segments, because it's Christmas Eve, right? And we need to have fun. So, Master Coach Mike Sellis. That's his name. I already gave it up. Okay, so Master Coach Mike Sellis is a self-empowerment global master coach. He is best-selling author, radio talk show and podcast host. He is in Manila, Philippines, but right now he's on vacation, and he'll tell us a little bit about that when he comes on with us. And he helps to inspire people to discover their own best me ever. Hashtag best me ever. And he'll talk a little bit more about what that means. It's so inspiring just hearing best me ever. It sticks in my soul because it automatically tells me, what, LaKendra, are you truly living the best life that you could possibly live, right? And if you are you living it, unapologetically? Are you living it in full awareness of who you want to be and not what other people want you to be? Y'all know what I mean? So Coach Mike Sellis is the person to really talk to us about authenticity and being your best me ever. So I am going to bring him up right now. Hello, Master Coach.
Hello, MCK, and to everyone who's tuned in right now. Greetings from the other side of the world. So it's Christmas here, so Merry Christmas, and it'll be Christmas in a few hours in your space. So Merry Christmas as well.
I just freaking love that it is already Christmas where you are. And
I know.
I'm like, I have my clothes laid out for it tomorrow for Christmas, right? I feel like I just want to put them on right now because,
Mm-hmm.
because you're already in Christmas, but I'm not going to put my Christmas clothes on right now.
Well, you can always have a dress rehearsal if you wanted to, so
Right,
that's perfectly fine.
right. The tribe is
Mm-hmm.
jumping on. Hello, Coach Adam. Thank you so much for tuning in. Merry Christmas to Nappy Coach. Merry Christmas from Coach Mariah. As the tribe is coming in, Master Coach Mike, can you
Mm-hmm.
tell us where you are? Where are you spending Christmas right now?
Okay, so I'm currently in Boracay. It's one of the best beaches all over the world as per the the recent surveys that they've had. And a lot of foreigners actually go here simply because of the really fine white sand that it has, and very
Mm.
wide sandbars. So there, I'm with my family. And a beach is very special to me because I love doing morning walks. I normally walk at 5 a.m. and once more during sunset, because it grounds me. So I get to reflect during that time, and say my affirmations and hope for the best during that day, because a lot of things are happening right now around us, and we always have, as coaches, to actually keep ourselves grounded and be in tune with our inner selves so that we don't lose ourselves in the process.
Mm, that's good. So you say in the morning you take your long walks, right? And I know
Mm-hmm.
that you are a beach boy. I know it because I follow you, and I'm like, he's always at the freaking beach. He's all,
Yes.
but you said something about affirmations. What is your favorite morning affirmation?
I think it would always be, I am more than enough. Because again,
Mm,
well, this would be jumping into that juicy part of the story that we're going to have later. But a lot of us, I think I'm speaking for a lot of people from all over the world,
mhm.
that sometimes we feel that we're not enough, that there's something lacking in us, or that we're not good enough, or not special enough, or not lovable enough. But the truth is that um, we are more than enough if we only embrace ourselves, our authentic selves, and not be afraid of what other people may say.
Yeah.
So I think that is one thing that is very important to me, simply because apart from that, there are a lot of people who get certified, whether it's $1 worth of certification or the expensive one, and then they claim themselves as as practicing coaches already. I don't look at competition, actually, to be honest. When
Mm,
people ask me about people about in this certain space or another space, I'm like, I'm all good, because again, I would always be more than enough for people who really deserve to be in my space, and for people who
mm,
really deserve to be coached by me. So I think that's also a wonderful thing to remind all of the coaches there, because not one institute is better than the others. It's really more of, you have your own journey, we work harmoniously with each other, and you go sparkle your own way, and don't give, oh sorry, should I tell it,
well,
don't give a
you
what.
know you can definitely say that on this air, in these airwaves.
I know. So sorry, don't give any any stress or concern about what other
Yes,
people may have to say about you in your
yes.
practice.
So basically, in a nutshell, what he said is, "Don't give a damn, right? Just do you." Okay,
I didn't want to say
that's what
say
he
it because
said.
I was thinking of whether it would be censored or not. But since you just said it, my dear, then by all means, yes, with a capital D, please.
Capital D, yes. I love it. Nappy Coach says, I just want to be Master Coach Mike Sellis when I grow up and who grow up and lives on the beach. Right. I think we all want to
Dreams.
be, right?
Oh, I
So
know some people who would want to live in a forest, though, in that kind of setting. To each his own. But
yeah,
you know what? There's something about the beach that makes me feel so relaxed, especially when hearing the waves. And it also helps my clients as well.
yes,
So yeah.
yes. I love it. I love it. So you kind of dove in so everybody know that Master Coach Mike Sellis is a certified life coach, right? So, Master Coach, what made you want to become a certified life coach?
Okay, it was during the time that I was actually, searching for what I really wanted to do in life. I spent 15 years doing marketing and advertising, having my own company, running multinational brands, locally and internationally back then, until I hit a roadblock, because back then, again, growing up not being appreciated by your own family and the people around you, I figured out that being successful is
Mhm,
going to give me the appreciation and the love that I wanted. I've
mhm,
always longed for. I wasn't the favorite simply because I was the unicorn kid again. Back then, when I was growing up, it's not exactly, being gay was not exactly tolerated uh, in the early 80s. So, it was quite taboo back then. So when you have a unicorn for a child, so I use that. so,
That is
so my parents use it. I know, I know, I know. I know. Well, while everyone else my age back then wanted to play with robots and all, I wanted to play with my unicorn. and I looked up to Wonder Woman as my, childhood
mm,
hero back then. It was weird for a lot of people, and discrimination when you were growing up and being bullied was part of my childhood then. However, on that note, I kind of figured out at my young age that if I do well in school, if I do well in life, then people would appreciate me and love me eventually. Of which worked for me until, I reached 15 years. I was one of the biggest bitches back then in advertising and marketing because I knew that I was good. However, it was also the time wherein when a friend of mine betrayed me after a friend of mine for 15 years betrayed me and
mm,
left me almost bankrupt, and I was in a physically abusive relationship because back then again my thoughts were this was the kind of love I deserved because no one else would love me like this
mm,
guy did, because this guy was superficially was perfect in the eyes of others, good looking, rich, powerful, but didn't know that they had abusive behavior, but I tolerated that thinking that was I deserved. And then moving forward from that, when that happened, when I lost almost everything and, I was in a really bad shape because of a relationship that went wrong, um, my success crumbled and I don't have my wall of protection anymore. And that scared me. That scared me like shit. And I
mm,
didn't know where to go. I lost the friends I had, and I was back to my old 5-year-old self who was very vulnerable. But then again, I almost killed myself in the process because losing your career and then being such in a bad shape, I was left with so many debts during that time simply because of the betrayal that happened that left me almost bankrupt. I felt that I was at the lowest point in my life. And I remember that fateful day wherein inside my room I had a choice on whether to slash my wrist or overdose myself with pills. Um,
yeah.
it seemed like the most wonderful idea back then, and I'm laughing about it now because trust me, I even wrote down all my passwords. I even wrote down my last notes.
Mm,
Everything was prepared. And then I remember while looking at everything and knowing that because I'm very OC, I prepare everything in advance. I remember that there was this spark of a thought that just said, what if you try all over again? And that part
mm,
of me, I had this vision of my 5-year-old self. Like, really. It's like, this kid doesn't give a fuck. He's still happy being a unicorn that he is. So I'm like, so what if I haven't got anything to lose, right? I already lost everything. So might as well just start from where I was. So my way of coping back then was to, post on Facebook, and posting on Facebook, I made use of the hashtag best year ever. Okay, because I
mm.
just wanted to get through the year. However, instead of ranting, I was posting the lessons I learned. So nobody knew what I was going through. Nobody knew that I almost died the other night. So that's crazy. So every time I would post, people started, resonating with it. I got private messages. The comments were growing, the engagements were growing. This is on my personal page, and back then it wasn't on private. Facebook did not have private mode
Yep,
back
they surely
then.
didn't. Mm-mm.
Yep. And I quit my marketing job, took a break initially because I felt that, I'm not really in the space to continue on after what happened, and took on a teaching job. I taught graduate school MBA classes in two of the top universities in the Philippines on a part time basis.
Oh.
And my students would ask me about life lessons and not about the lessons in class. And they would tell me that I reminded them of Oprah, of Tony Robbins. I didn't even give a fuck of who they were before.
Who are these people? Like, who are these people?
I know, I know, I know, I know. But then I started watching their shows and their videos, and I like it that people tend to change right in front of you. That people get those
Mhm.
realizations. And I did my research, and I found out that either they had their own coaches or they were considered as coaches themselves. So that's when I actually, researched again and found my very first certification before the institute that we have now. And I moved on and forward from that. And when the year end came, it was more of like, should I do a hashtag best year ever year two? Or should I, change it to something else? And then I took a step back and reflected. Is it really about the year? Maybe it's not about what happened to me or who did it wrong, who did me wrong, or the time that I spent there, but rather maybe it was about myself. And so
Mm.
on that time, I actually made use of hashtag best me ever. So that's when my publisher discovered me because of my posts on Facebook and asked me to write my very first book
So
back
you
then.
didn't have a book yet?
No,
Wow.
no, I did not. And I
Love
was a reluctant author.
that.
I was a
I think we all were at some point. Yes.
I didn't have that book yet of the best me ever series. I didn't know what I wanted to do
Hmm.
back then. So when I was approached during the time to write that book for the series, I grabbed it because I felt that it was a culminating part of my existence thereafter.
Wow. That is, listen, everybody's sitting all these hearts because we can't see them here backstage, but they're sitting all these hearts and everything on social media. You said a lot. So you felt that you were unloved because you were the unicorn child in your family.
Mm-hmm.
Um, do you remember when you came out, like when you first
Mm-hmm.
told your family that, hey, I'm gay? How old were you?
Was that intentionally or unintentionally? Because I was giving all the signs ever since. Okay, but to be candid about it, I waited until I graduated from college to be really, really, really formal about it and even
Mm,
introduce my boyfriend back then. Because in my head, I'm like, if you disown me, I can always leave and I would start a life that I've always wanted. Okay, because I grew up being independent simply because that's the space I wasn't appreciated before. It was always like my mom and dad would, be with my older brother who was straight.
mm-hmm,
And even though I'll give you a perfect scenario, even though he wasn't doing well in school, when he barely got a passing grade, he would have a party. And I was getting a line of nine and straight A's and I would just get a pat on the back,
mm,
and sometimes even none.
yeah,
So that's it. So when my brother died and my father died back then in a vehicular accident, it was really difficult for me because it was like my mom would compare me with him every single day. Oh, just a note, my mom and I are good, obviously, because she's here with me at it.
she's there at
So
the beach. Okay, by the way.
okay. By the way, we're cool. We're cool. So come on. So anyway, that was it. It was really difficult because there were times wherein she would say back then, because I understand that it's very difficult to lose a son. That's what she
Mm-hmm,
told me. It's more difficult to lose a son than to lose a husband. I'm not sure. So anyway, that's what she told me, and I didn't understand it back then because I was not a coach. I was
right.
like, "You are just hurting me."
Mm-hmm.
Uh-huh, sounds familiar, everyone. So
Yes.
yeah, yeah, right. So back then I didn't understand it, and then she would say things like, uh your brother should have been alive instead. I'm like, oh wow, thank
Mm,
you.
wow.
Thank you. I know. So it wasn't really easy because at that time I was only what, 15.
Yeah.
And it's still part of the formative years that we have, right, when you're teenagers. And it stuck with me, so that's why I was really driven by anger to be successful. And it
Mm-hmm.
was very tiring, guys, very, very tiring. You could not even put your hat down because you feel that you have to be successful just to make a point.
Yeah, yeah. Just to have some type of you see me, right? It's that you see me
Exactly.
reality. Yeah, and so you said something that was really beautiful. You're talking about this relationship, with
Mm-hmm.
your mom, and
Mm-hmm.
some hurtful things that were said, but at some point you had self realization that hey, do I continue to carry this anger like towards my,
Mm-hmm.
she's your only parent left, right?
Yeah.
The only parent
Yeah.
alive. So what was the turning point where you said, I have to forgive and move forward?
Hmm. One thing that you should know, though, and I think would be interesting for all the viewers that we have right now, is that it didn't happen overnight. It didn't happen like a one-time, big-time thing.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. When I came out and she just hugged me and cried, and that, as long as you don't do anything bad or you put our family in shame, I'm cool, because she didn't want me to leave back then. That
Mm-hmm.
was episode number one. However, in the process of doing that, also, I realized that I haven't really forgiven her because all those pains were deep rooted.
Yeah.
Okay. So I've always wondered why every time we would fight, I would, lash out terribly. I would shout,
Mm-hmm.
like shout. And I would bring back all the things that I have experienced before.
Mm-hmm.
That is deep rooted pain. I only got over it at age 36, honey. 36. And I would love to share this story with you guys because this one's beautiful. So after coming from a coaching certification abroad, I went home here and I was inside the car with my mom, and I told her, hey, I figured out that apparently at age 5, my first source of anger, my first concept of anger was when you didn't buy me my unicorn during my birthday. And she
Mm.
said, huh? I don't remember that. And I'm like, yes, it was that. But I was just telling it, as a matter of factly. And then she said, "Oh, okay. Anyway, let's go to the mall, and then I'll just have to buy something." It was always like that. Our bonding moments would be, let's go to the mall, let's buy something, let's eat out and all. So when we got to the mall, I was there like, "Okay, so what are you going to buy?" She looked at me and said to me that, "Buy the biggest unicorn. I'm sorry," and she cried. She cried. She cried. I didn't know I needed that forgiveness. That part of me,
Mm-hmm.
it healed on the spot
Mm-mm. Yeah.
because it was something I wasn't, you know, waiting for or wishing for anymore. But it healed me in such a way that after that, I was like, come on, world, bring it on.
Bring it
So
on.
it was, yeah, it was the best feeling ever because the very thing that they used to hate or resist about me was the very thing that healed me, and they accepted it. I only
Mm.
had to accept myself that it was part of my truth.
Yeah. Yeah. That you said it right there. It was, I really had to accept myself,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
Because it's a part of
Mm-hmm.
my truth, right? Everybody
Mm-hmm.
really who are listening to this, who ever have gone through, feeling like, you wasn't loved from, your family,
Mm-hmm.
especially your parents, that really does carry a heavy, heavy weight in
Mm-hmm.
adulthood if you don't deal with it. But when you become adults, you are now responsible for yourself,
There
right?
you go.
It is really
Yes.
the self realization that, hey, in order for me to have love, I really have to become love for myself. And
Mm-hmm.
sometimes we don't know what it looks like if we did not have it growing up. But there's so many different. I just think for myself, right? When you said, you really hated. There was a hate, right?
Yeah.
There was a part even within me, Master Coach, where I hated. Like I finally said, like I hated my parents, right? And
Mm-hmm.
to
Mm-hmm.
speak that really gave me so much freedom, and it seems like it expanded the universe for me to now receive what love looks like, how I should feel for myself as an adult, woman, and be okay with it. You know what I mean? Just be okay with um the pain, because there is pain.
Mm-hmm.
We do carry the pain. And
Mm-hmm.
the beautiful thing about coaching is, and why I love coaching, is it just allows us to be unapologetically who we are, without shame,
Yes.
right? Without
Yes.
shame, and with the healing, right? We are now responsible, because coaching holds you at a very high standard, you know, where, because it's a lifestyle. So if we're
Mm-hmm.
saying that we want to be these great beings, right, that's on this journey to more self discovery and more healing
Mm-hmm.
and more success and more power and all of this stuff, then, and helping other people, then we really have to abide by what it is that we preach.
Exactly. I always tell that to the coaches that I also mentor.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you cannot be the coach for whomever it is that you want to coach if you yourself haven't been coached yet.
Yeah.
It's not a certification that would bring in the clients, honey. It's the experience. Trust me on
It is
this.
the experience,
It's
which
the
means that you can't be
experience.
afraid to tell your story.
Yes. Yes, exactly. The thing is that, a lot of people are having problems about being vulnerable because they feel that they would be judged. But
Yeah,
what they don't realize is that they're actually judging themselves in the process. It's not
yeah,
other people who's judging them, they are judging themselves. And that presents a bigger roadblock in the future.
yes, yes, and that's the reason why I wanted to start Success Power Hour. It really wasn't because, I want to show everybody that, I have kick ass coaches, but to really show that it's okay to be vulnerable and tell
Mm-hmm.
your story, because the more you tell your story, the more freeing
Mm-hmm.
it is for you, right? When I had made
Exactly.
when I made my announcement for the very first time in my life out loud, that there was a time in my life where I hated my mother. Like, I said it out loud. It was so freeing, but I
Mm-hmm.
also helped free so many other people who privately kept that a secret within themselves, right? And then I
Mm-hmm.
was able to have this vulnerable conversation with people who related to me, right? So when we're talking about coaches and master coach, how do I find my clients? Well, shit, you got to tell your story so people can
I
know,
know.
like, oh my gosh, there's the magnet. It's a magnet. So it's like this
True.
resisting magnet, and then you tell your story, and then boom, you connect with people, and that's
True.
really how it happens. Do you agree, master coach?
Yes, and one thing that we should also tell everyone out there is that don't ever fake your story, honey. It would show because people would be initially drawn to you, but when you converse with them, the connection wouldn't be there. You cannot force it. It's really grounded on authenticity and, being actually unapologetic about what you've been through. Because at the end of the day, I mean, cliche as it may sound, it's actually the silver lining. I wouldn't change anything. Well, there's this one thing I would change. That's it. If I knew that I would become a coach at my age right now, I would have gotten a coach at age 10, and my life would have been so much, more beautiful, and I would have become a coach at age 11. So I guess that's the only thing I would change. But other than that, all good.
I'm so glad you said that, because we were, you know, I have a board, and so I'm always
Hmm.
sitting figuring out what is going to be the next journey for the
Yeah.
institute. And so, last year, well, actually this year, we piloted our first. Let's bring in teenagers and see if they can
Mm-hmm.
survive the 2 day intensive, right?
Mm-hmm.
So we have some of our youngest coaches. We have Coach Tatiana, who got certified when she was 18, right?
Wow.
And then we have one of our new coaches who just got certified at 18. And then we have one of our coaches out there in the Philippines, Coach Armand, who got certified at 19. And just to see the transformation in their life at a young age, you can't tell me life coaching does not work, right? Because I wish
Exactly.
I would have had it when I was also 11, 7.
We would probably have been batchmates in the certification.
We would have been batchmates, exactly. Oh, this is so beautiful. Okay, so we got coaches jumping on. Hey, y'all. Hey,
Hi
Coach
guys, I
Ronita is
cannot read.
here.
I'm sorry.
I'm gonna read it. I'm gonna read it. Coach Renita is here. She said, "Hello, tribe." Coach Adam, hey, Coach Adam. Coach Adam was also one of our guests. Coach Renita was one of our guests. Coach
Mhm.
Stacy was one of our guests as well. Coach Stacy says, "Merry Christmas, everyone. I love Master Coach Kendra Smalley and Mike Sellis' dedication to doing this today, right? Because life coaches are crazy. We love it, right? We love it." Coach Renita says, "Wow, judging oneself actually instead of thinking." Others are judging us, judging oneself actually instead of thinking others. Yeah, it I just feel like everything that we hold against someone else is something that we hold against ourselves. And that's why I always say y'all have to self-reflect. You have to self-reflect. You
Mhm.
have to
Yeah.
self-reflect. And you have to rethink that first thought and ask yourself, why am I feeling this way about this person?
Mhm.
Where does this emotion come from? So yeah, kindergarten life coaches, absolutely. Kindergarten life coaches. Okay, so let's do something fun, right? So everybody take a break. And I also want all the coaches that are here that are participating, if you've already done like some Christmas Eve gift openings, share what you've gotten special in the comments. So Master Coach Mike, share one of your, because those of you who do not know, it is already Christmas Day
Uh-huh.
in the Philippines where Coach Mike Sellis is. Share one of your Christmas gifts.
Okay. But before I continue, that is why a lot of people are still sleeping right now because a lot of them stayed up late last
Yes.
night
A lot.
to anticipate, Christmas. And that is normal. Okay,
Yes.
allow them. So anyway, I think that my best Christmas gift that I received was being able to be here with my family for Christmas because this was a planned trip, them spending time at the beach because they're already senior citizens. So it's not easy for them to travel, and the restrictions here are crazy. This trip got canceled 3 times before. And even
Wow.
before leaving, my mom was telling me, I hope this would not be the fourth time that it would, get canceled. So, so it's crazy. And then I guess everything just aligned because, restrictions, loosened up a bit and we got the hotel that we wanted and everything was in place, everything was smooth even though it was done like last minute.
Right.
Some of the stuff done were like last minute because we wanted to be sure first that they would be allowed to travel. And I think that's one of the best Christmas gifts that I have received for this year. The gift of time and experience to get to know
Mm,
my family even better, to see them just, unwind and be free once more because this lockdown has kept them inside our house for the longest time. And it's crazy. It can be crazy for everyone, so to speak. So I think that's one priceless thing that I can, look back at in the years to come. And that's part of my gratitude list also because at the end of the day, my family's not getting any younger, and I would
yeah.
love to spend as much time with them as possible. Especially now that I am on a semi hard stop with coaching, I try to, but some of my clients don't have Christmas, so they still schedule. So I'm like,
I had a
I
client
know,
today.
right?
I had a client today. So
I know I had that one yesterday. I'm on a hard stop, but again, duty calls. So there.
yeah, yeah. Okay, beautiful. So I attended this, it was like this women's empowerment brunch,
Mm-hmm.
and it was with Karen Michelle. And Karen Michelle is um, the creator of oh my god, it just really slipped my mind. Let me just bag up because it'll come back to my head. So anyway, she had this empowerment brunch for women,
Mm-hmm.
and I was invited, and she gave out her favorite things. I felt like I was sitting with Oprah. Okay, y'all. I felt
Mm-hmm.
like I was sitting with freaking Oprah. And so these gifts were like on the table, and so
Wow.
so one of her favorite things are these little pod cups of Graham Starbucks coffee, which
Mm-hmm.
I can't wait to taste. So this was
Mm-hmm.
one of my gifts that I got from her.
Mm-hmm.
And shades of success. I told you my brain, because y'all know I'm ADHD. Brain was searching. So she is the founder and creator of Shades of Success, which I received an award from. You know, it was a voting thing. It was a big thing. Some of the biggest names in Dallas, Fort Worth, have received her awards, and so and I was so excited because she announced that she's doing it again in 2022, and I cannot wait
Wow.
to nominate some of our coaches because it will be just a great experience. So anyway, second gift, right? Because y'all know I'm greedy. So because no woman sit next to me, so I took the gift that was next to me. So the second gift, y'all. So this
Puka.
tea, like I love puka tea. It it's organic. Y'all see it. I can't wait to taste this tea because I have never tasted this. So this was another one of my other gifts, and I just love it, y'all. Like I love surprises. When I got there and I was like, "What is this in the center of the table?" She was like, "Oh, it's my favorite things," and I was like, "Oh, we got gifts." So anyway, Coach Adam says he got a Bible for men.
Wow.
Well, that sounds exciting, Coach Adam. Tell us tell us what you learned from that, okay? Coach Renita says, I received a teleprompter. Oh my God. Oh my gosh.
Wow.
I need one of those. A teleprompter
Yeah.
with two new mics. Oh, that is so cool. Some people donated gift boxes to teachers at the school, but it aligns with what I am doing so perfectly. That is so super cool. So, since we're talking
Mm-hmm.
about, I'm going to bless y'all with a gift because Coach Mike is so sought after there in the Philippines because he is the number one TED Talk speaker of Asia. Did I get it right?
Uh, b- I did my research, and my SEO person did my research, and I think it's actually worldwide that I have the most number of TED Talks. The next one was
Worldwide.
seven, seven. So I have 14 so
14.
far.
Okay,
14.
so enlighten us and tell us where have 14 TED Talks, y'all. Okay, because I have some people on here. I know Coach Renita is like, I think that's a dream of hers. How does one become to be a TED Talk extraordinaire like you have, Master Coach?
Oh, first things first, you have to start off with a dream. You have to want it. What's
Mm-hmm.
the intention? I remember way back then, I used to share on Facebook the TED Talks that I like. And, part of the best me ever journey was, inspiring people. And I told myself, I want to stand inside that red circle someday. Like, I
Mm.
want that. Not because I want to prove something to myself that I was a good speaker, but because I have a message to share. That was the time when the unicorn was already coming out and, wanted to enjoy himself and let other unicorns know that it's okay to become unicorns. So I kept that to heart. And then, the universe brings you the 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 things that you need. And I remember back then, after declaring it, a few months after, a friend of mine who was my radio co-host in another station back then told me that, hey, there would be a TED talk in one of the top schools here in the Philippines. So would you want to try out? I'm like, oh, do you try out for it? Like, I didn't know.
Like
So
what?
I didn't know how. I just knew that I wanted to speak there. So I did. I just sent my resume and then the credential, and then they asked me about a certain topic that I wanted to talk about. I didn't hear from them after until 2 weeks, and they set me up to four levels of interviews.
Four
Four
level.
levels.
Are y'all listening to
Four
this for
levels.
those of you who want to get into this?
Four
Okay.
levels of interviews. Internationally, though, they have three or two at times. So it's different because I've done TED Talks in the Philippines. I've done international ones as well. So there. For levels of interviews, they would ask you, you know, the simplest things and the most complicated things about the society and whatever their theme is, because each TED Talk would have a theme. Okay, and it's very important that you actually uh whatever you plan to talk about would fit it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, but here's the thing, the crazy thing about it, sometimes they tell you the theme, sometimes they don't.
Mm.
So it's really about, you, why are you going to be the best speaker for that particular topic? This one's very credentials based. So depending on who the screening committee is, they would really do a background check. So please Google your name right now and see what appears. Okay, they would do a
Wow.
background check because they check on, because you cannot be published. Again, you can be taken in as a TEDx speaker on site, but not all your videos would make it to TED.com, and not everyone
Mm.
gets published on TED.com. Uh-huh. So it's very important for you to, beef up your credentials, answer the question, why are you the best person to talk about this thing? Because if you cannot justify it and you're just one of the many, like, it's because I'm a certified life coach, because I'm this, and you mention all your academic achievements, it wouldn't do you any good. They're not looking exactly for the most, for the ones who had the best credentials, but of course it would help. They are
Right.
looking for the most relatable and genuine stories that you never thought would matter.
Mm.
Uh-huh. So those things. And then each and every time I would try out for international ones, but the rest locally and one internationally just got me after building the credentials that I needed to be invited, because
Mm-hmm.
it takes time for you to be invited.
Wow. I have people who ask all the time. I even have
Mm-hmm.
people who ask me, LaKendra, why don't you do TED Talks? And I'm like, that don't make me feel sexy. But I know someone who who's great at it. He must feel real sexy doing it, right? Well, that's great information because I know a lot of coaches are wanting, they're wanting to do that. So coaches who want to know more information about that platform, I really like advise you to reach out to Master Coach Mike, like, because he is the person for that, and he may can even coach you through that. Who knows?
Mm-hmm.
Who knows? So, what makes someone a unicorn? Here we go. So, I'm going to tell you right now, Coach Adam is the question guru coach. So, he's going to ask 1,000 questions. That's why I love him so much. He's already throwing them up there. Coach Adam says, what makes someone a unicorn?
Well, I normally just describe unicorns as people who are unapologetic and authentic, and
Mhm.
who have chosen to become the grandest versions of themselves.
Mm.
Anything less than those three words mentioned does not fit a unicorn.
There you have it. Did you get that, Coach Adam? Because you're such a unicorn as well, Coach Adam. He
Yeah.
just described you very very well. Okay, so we got the TED talk out of the way. Let's talk about being a bestseller author, right?
Mm-hmm.
Um, I finally have my first, bestsellers author. It was a group project, beautiful project with some great life coaches from around the world, and I was able to do that group project. Great book, but you have how many books, Master Coach?
Five at present.
Five present.
Coming Becoming six by January next year.
Okay, and so let's talk about the first five. Give us a
Okay.
rundown of first out of the first five. How many are bestsellers?
Four.
Four out of five. Ding, 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 ding,
Four.
ding. Okay.
Yeah, four out of five. The first one was, a book that I
Mm-hmm.
have written when I was a reluctant author. Okay. when I was, I didn't even want to promote it. It was like, oh, okay, let's see. Okay, nice to have, but it wasn't really, it wasn't part of the Best Me Ever series. So
Yes.
it wasn't part of that. It had no structure whatsoever. It was basically because people just wanted me to write a book,
Mm-hmm.
and it was even a publisher who thought about the title. I
Mm-hmm.
was just there to write whatever I wanted to write. The structure came
Okay.
when I started writing about the Best Me Ever book series.
So do you recommend that, people who may be reluctant authors as well, right? Because they
Mm-hmm.
really don't know where to start. Do you
Mm-hmm.
recommend that they get some type of kind of like you did, like you got the Best Me Ever series. Do you think it's easier to start a series of book or just to sit down
Oh,
and maybe just write
okay,
a
you
book
have
or
to
do a
have
journal?
a big idea. You
Mm-hmm.
have to have a big idea of what you really want to write and what you represent. Again, you cannot fake it. The reason why my books are selling because it's very authentic, and people are telling me that when they read my book, it's like hearing me speak to them because
Mm-hmm.
they already watched me and heard my podcast, heard my radio program. So the way I talk to you right now is the way I talk in on my books. So it's very consistent. It's very important that you have a solid topic that you can discuss, that you are an expert of, or the way that you carry it, the way the tone of the book must be innately yours. So
Mm-hmm.
it's very important to do that. Now, if you're starting, I guess the best thing to remember is that don't get frustrated. Whether you self publish or a publisher gets you, I tell everybody I'm just lucky because publishers got me. So I get paid for it. I don't have to sell out money to get published and all by other people. So that's very I'm just very lucky to be given that opportunity. And you don't have to do the distribution side of it because again, the thing with me as a best-selling author is that it's not only on Amazon, it's also in the bookstores here in the Philippines.
Bookstores.
So when you
Yeah.
go to a bookstore and the top one gets you, that's already, the best reward ever to see your book on shelf. It doesn't even have to make it to the bestseller. But if it does, why complain, honey? You deserve it. So so what I'm saying is, there are things to consider, but the best thing to think about is what do I want to write about and why do I want to write it? What is it about me?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Okay? Because if you're not clear with that, you never go anywhere.
Yeah, yeah. I totally agree with that.
Mm-hmm.
Coach Adam says, "How do you get publishers?"
My dear, I was just so lucky that my Facebook was on public mode and I got discovered online.
Mm-hmm.
Some
Discovered,
so the publisher
y'all. Mm-hmm.
discovered online. So the publisher saw my post, stalked me, saw if it was consistent, saw the engagements and all, and decided to just approach me with a contract. The next one, my new publisher, who'll be launching my new book this coming January, saw my interviews online and they did their research. Google is my best friend. So they did their research and saw that I have written also other books locally and internationally. So it became very attractive to them and offered me a publishing deal as well. However, for my mentees in terms of book writing, because I'm also coming out with a formal book writing and TED speaking program next year, it's already in my pipeline.
Oh.
Yes, because people have been asking me. I'm just too busy coaching right now. But wait, I already planned it, so it's already there. I asked them to actually pitch to publishers. If
Mm-hmm.
they don't come to you and you want it, you go to them, honey. That's the only way to go. Bring your manuscript, submit it to them, and pray that the heavens would grant you your first bestseller.
Okay, so I'm gonna tell y'all once again, those
Mhm.
of you who are really into you want to become an author, Like we have
Mm-hmm.
some of the best coaches in the institute that you can work with, right? And I always say, why take money outside when we have everything inside? So Coach Mike is the person for you to talk to if you want to become an international speaker, specifically, TED Talk, but he also does other speaking international engagements, and also for book, to be an author. Like he is the guy, like, to go to. Like I recommend that, right?
Thank
Okay,
you.
so Master Coach, let's have a
Mm-hmm.
little fun. I want to know how well you are at these Christmas songs, okay?
Okay, I'm not sure if I am the best person to play this game, but I would definitely try my best.
Okay,
And you know,
just fill in the blank, okay? Just fill in the blank. I saw Mama kissing.
Santa Claus, honey.
Okay, ding 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 ding
I
ding
have
ding ding.
never been this nervous in an interview ever in my entire life. Okay, never, never. Okay.
Okay, next one up.
Hmm.
Jingle bells, jingle.
All the way.
Okay, ding 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 ding. He got that one. Okay, okay. One more. Rudolph the.
Red-nosed reindeer turning into unicorn soon. It
So he
was
was like
already at the tip of my root.
Rudolph the red nose reindeer. Okay, very, very, very good. Okay,
Hmm.
that was so much fun. Thank you so much for being
Thank
enduring and
you.
playing along with me, Master Coach. What winter specials do you have coming up? I know you talked about your sixth book that is coming out. Do you want to tell us a little
Hmm.
bit about that?
Okay, so it's going to be under my new publisher, under Bookshelf PH, and it's called Best Me Ever, of course. Hashtag Best Me Ever. Online and offline, how to be your authentic, unapologetic, grandest version of yourself always. So, because this is, yes, this is the thing, a lot of people put up an online persona, that there's a different character that they see on social media, and then in real life, it's a different thing altogether. My brand and myself included, again, I wouldn't write something that I don't advocate for, I don't practice. I've always believed in consistency and authenticity. And this book can help you become comfortable as you create your online presence that's very authentic and very relatable. That would allow you to go even further in your practice. Because it all starts with being vulnerable and being able to accept your true self so that it resonates well with the rest of the people, in the digital space as
Mhm.
well. It's it's a common misconception that people think that you have to put on a mask whenever you go online or when you do interviews and all those stuff just to look good in the eyes of others. But what they don't realize is that it's even better if you show them yourself as you are, because
Mhm.
that makes you even more relatable in the process.
Yeah, that's so beautiful because I teach that. That's a big part of my teaching is that
Mm-hmm.
you're only one being, right? So who you are at home should be the same
Mm-hmm.
person who you are at work, out,
Exactly.
around and about your community. So people can really authentically get to know you and really see the best part of you. I think when we are authentically ourselves, people get to see the best part of us, right? Which is
Exactly.
a flawed human being. And when you show me like a person that's successful, that, oh my gosh, you're flawed, but yet you still get up every single day and show up for yourself, that truly inspires other people, right?
Uh-huh. And
I
it
like
actually
this all the time.
strengthens your brand. It
Yeah,
makes your brand stronger. You
yeah,
have to be memorable in your own way. People should be able to associate how you talk, how you act, how you look like in that sense. It's
yeah.
uniquely you.
Absolutely, because people know, today I'll have blonde hair, and tomorrow, it's no telling what color it may be, or if it may be curly or whatever, curly
Exactly.
eyelashes. I mean, because I'm so many different layers of who I am, and I feel free when I can just be myself, right? And when I
Mm-hmm.
feel like I can't be myself, then I don't show up to that space. That space
True.
does not serve me. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Okay, Master Coach. Coach Bernadette is here. Good morning. Merry Christmas.
Hi.
Merry Christmas to you. Tell us
She's awake.
she's awake. She's awake. Y'all see down below that Master Coach Mike website is down there. Write it down. Don't be lazy, right? Just write it down. Okay. And you'll be able to also catch it when I post it and fact check. I always do fact check after this segment. But how can they find you on Facebook?
Okay, on Facebook, it's my best me ever, or they can just search best me ever by Global Master Coach Mike Celis, or they can also search my community. It's hashtag best me ever self empowerment community on Facebook.
Okay. He's also on Instagram under my best me
Yes,
ever.
it's still my underscore best me ever on Instagram. I post there 5 times a week.
Awesome. And okay, so I'm new to TikTok, so I have to go and find you on TikTok, but he's also on TikTok.
Yes. On TikTok, I'm under TikTok Philippines. So I'm one of their brand creators for motivation. So you can find it under coach underscore Mike underscore Celis.
Oh, awesome. He's also on LinkedIn.
Oh, we need that. I didn't know I needed that. I didn't know. No, because things about business and all
Mhm.
those stuff just make my head. I'm all for rainbows and stars and everything nice. So when people talk about demands, business, and all, I'm like, ooh, ooh, ooh. But I figured out we need that. We need that to formalize everything. So even as a coach, so it's under Coach Mike Celis.
Yes, yes. And then last but not least, he is also on YouTube.
Yes, so YouTube is under Best Me Ever for YouTube. I'll be updating that soon because on a personal note, I'd like to focus on a platform, one platform or two in the process and then expand again. So I
Mhm.
don't want to spread myself so thinly right now. And I'm just taking my time. But when my book launches again, I need to do content for that one.
Yes, yes. So we have reached our hour. So we're at now the bottom of the hour, and you have been tuning in with Master Coach Mike Sellis and myself, the founder and CEO of the Global Institute for Coaches and Entrepreneurs. It is Christmas Eve and also Christmas Day right now. We're sharing this space, this beautiful
Mhm.
space with one another. Question: do you have any regrets?
None that I could think of.
Okay.
Except for not starting coaching at age of 10.
Right, right, right.
Uh-huh,
And
uh-huh.
the other thing is we have someone that just popped on. Clarina Sellis, love it.
That's my mom.
Hey
See?
mom,
I told you.
I
I
love
told you
it.
we're okay.
We love you, okay? We love you, mom.
Okay.
Okay,
Mm-hmm.
so we're getting ready to depart, and you know, everybody is not in that good festive and sparkly spirit right now, right? Moving
Mm-hmm.
into
Mm-hmm.
Christmas, a lot of people don't have family to move on to because they may have lost them through COVID, or they've lost them through other means, other ways. And they may be spending their very first Christmas without their loved ones. What words do you want to leave for those people to make them feel that they are special too? And you always have the best word. So I look forward to what you're getting ready to say.
Okay. Um, I like to tie it in with the other misconceptions that people have about, Christmas, celebrating Christmas. So it's not really about whom you are with or what you have on your table or how much you have on your pocket or how many gifts you received. It's all about what's within, how
Mhm.
you're able to celebrate you as you are, to find that genuine joy and peace and be able to share it with others. Because in your current space, even if you feel alone, you are not. because you have that impact in the lives of others only if you allow yourself to share that joy and feel it as well in the process. That's what Christmas is.
See, I was gonna say something after that, but I'm not. I'm gonna save it for fact check. That's a beautiful way to end. I just want to thank you. I always have a fun time when I'm with you. I have found a couple of pictures that we took when I was there in the Philippines. I'll be posting them later. I don't know if you remember
Uh,
some of those pictures. So it's always a joy to be with another master coach, right? So I want to just thank you for being here, for saying yes and taking time away from your family on Christmas Day, and loving on the tribe. Thank you so much.
Yes. Thank you so much for having me. It's been a while and it's been such a great energy to spend Christmas Day. It woke me up. It woke me up, but it's my pleasure to actually be of service to anyone and everyone who would need to see this video and, who would be inspired by it thereafter.
Yes. So once again, you tune in today with Success Power Hour with Master Coach LaKendra Smalley and Master Coach Mike Sellis here on Christmas Eve and Christmas Day. If you want to know more about Coach, here is his website here. Just write it down, reach out to him, especially if you're a part of the tribe and
Hmm.
you've never met him before. Now you know who he is when we talk about Master Coach Mike. So tune in for our next segment, which is on New Year's Eve. We will be back. And it's going to be a special, 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 special day because it will be a couple of us that will be here. So tune in on next Friday. We'll be back at 4:30 Central Standard Time here in the US. And then if you're on the other side of the world, just add a couple of hours onto it. If you're on the other side of my world, subtract a couple of hours. This is like hours forward and subtracted all over the place in my tribe. So I'm just so grateful to be called and accept the calling of this platform. It's beautiful. And those of you who are you may not be feeling, your best self, as Master Coach Mike would say, it's really about your best me ever. Getting centered with who you are and loving yourself more unapologetically so you can be your best me ever. So I'll see y'all on next Friday and catch me in a couple of minutes for Fact Check Friday on our Facebook page. So bye for now.
Bye bye. Thank you.